Why the Trump cult is always angry. There are 3 scientific reasons for that, and it explains everything. 1. They are filled with fear. Neuroscientist Geraint Rees at University College of London studied how conservative and liberal brains process fear differently. And what he found is wild. Conservative brains have a larger, more reactive amygdala that never shuts off. The amygdala is the fear center of your brain. It processes fear, anxiety, and rage. At the same time, the part of the brain that pumps the brakes on fear, called the anterior cingulate cortex, is smaller in conservative brains. That is the part of the brain that controls proportionality and rational response. Conservative brains run on fear. Liberal brains run on curiosity. The amygdala's job is simple: detect threats and freak the fuck out. When the amygdala is oversized and oversensitive, everything new feels like a threat. Immigrants moving into your neighborhood? Threat. Spanish guy on the Super Bowl stage? Threat. Not because there is a threat, but because their amygdala manufactures a threat. Psychologists call this threat hypersensitivity syndrome. This means progressives literally have a more evolved brain, built for complexity, built for modern society. Conservative brains are stuck in caveman threat detection mode. Perfect for 50,000 BC, horrible for modern society. This is why facts don't work on Trump supporters. You're not debating ideas, you're debating a terrified lizard brain. 2. The psychological root of rage. Psychiatrist James Gilgan at Harvard Medical School spent decades studying the most violent men in American prisons. What he learned was, underneath every act of rage was one emotion: shame. Gilgan found that men who could not process shame turned it outward, into violence, into rage, into destroying anyone who reminded them what they never became. Most Trump supporters spent their lives falling short of what they thought they would be. They did not build the career they wanted. They did not earn the respect they thought they deserved. They peaked in high school. The gap between who they are and who they thought they would be produced shame. And that shame has nowhere to go, so it becomes rage. That is what you're looking at when you see a Trump supporter lose their mind over immigrants or someone with a college degree. It's not politics. It's a person furious at their own life who needs someone to blame for it. They are mad that you did something with your life and they didn't. You actually did the work. They convince themselves that real Americans don't need ambition, that hard work is for the elites, and then they spend 20 years wondering why nothing changed. 3. Parasocial relationship with Trump. Psychologist Henry Teifel at the University of Bristol studied what happens when people with no individual identity attach themselves to a group or a leader. Teifel called this social identity theory. When people's in-group feels threatened, they don't just feel defensive. They feel like their entire existence is under attack. People who already feel like failures, who are filled with shame and humiliation, are the most susceptible to this. The group becomes their entire sense of self-worth because they have a parasocial relationship with Trump. Even though Trump will never know who they are, they think they know him from watching him on TV. In a way, they think they are friends with him. They are delusional. He is not your friend. You will never know Donald Trump. Trump understood this from the start. He nursed that parasocial relationship with all of his followers. He then gave their shame a target: immigrants, liberals, the deep state. He told them the reason their lives did not work out was not their fault. It was immigrants' faults. So they stopped feeling like losers. They started feeling like they needed to punish people for their shame. MAGA is filled with angry, shameful, broken people. Trump gave their shame a target and called it a movement. The MAGA movement is a con, and they are the marks.